So President Trump just put Mike Pence, the vice president, in charge of dealing with the spread of the coronavirus. So it's a virus that started in China, and it's now spreading worldwide, and it's terrifying everybody. It's such a big deal that the Olympics, which is supposed to be held in Tokyo in the summer, they're saying, hey, listen, if this thing does not clear up by May, we're going to either postpone or cancel it. You don't postpone or cancel something like the Olympics. So this has to be very, very, very serious. So to give you the numbers on it, there have been about 82,000 cases as of right now, roughly. And there's been about 3,000 deaths of those 82,000 cases. So, I guess some people might say, oh, that's only a 2.5% death rate or whatever, but I don't know if that's a pretty large amount. If you get that thing, if you get it, and it's like, hey, by the way, there's a 2.5% chance you're going to die now, I would be terrified. So I don't know why people would necessarily downplay that. I think the death rate from the flu is lower than that. And it impacts people differently. If it depends how compromised your immune system is. Are you old? Are you young? Do you have pre-existing conditions? So on and so forth. But what's terrifying as well is just the total lack of preparedness. It's amazing. So the CDC, Centers for Disease Control, HHS, Health and Human Services, and all the relevant, agencies that would fight back against this, they are totally unprepared. Trump's done budget cuts to those agencies. He got rid of some pandemic experts that we had in the government. And, really, this is one of those instances where you see, incompetence and corruption and, the wrong philosophy can just have disastrous consequences. Because you want people who are, the top experts in the world working on this around the clock and doing everything they can. And effectively, we got a bunch of idiots who didn't prioritize fighting back against something like a global pandemic. And it's like, okay, you're on your own. And that's terrifying. They even alluded to, Trump gave his little speech yesterday, that's what this picture's from. And they even alluded to, hey, if it came to it, we have plans to quarantine entire cities. Quarantine entire cities. That's unbelievable. That's next level stuff. That's scary. That's scary is what that is. And if you think, well, hey, whatever, this is not the biggest deal in the world. Go watch a documentary or go read about the Spanish flu that happened in the 19-teens. Might change your perspective. Because that's one of those stories that you're just like, oh, so millions of people were wiped out casually, willy-nilly because of a bad strain of the flu, which was deadly and spread very easily, and we're just a bunch of idiots and we're waiting for the next one to hit. So it really is scary stuff. But Mike Pence is now in charge, and Trump did this as a way to try to relax everybody. All right, guys, don't worry. I've got Mike Pence working on this. Pence is a tremendous person, very smart guy, very intelligent. And here's what you need to know about Mike Pence, and this should scare you even more. Mike Pence, as governor of Indiana, slashed public health spending and delayed the introduction of needle exchange programs, which led to the state's worst outbreak of HIV. This is who is now in charge of dealing with a global pandemic. Also, he famously said that he's not sure cigarettes cause cancer. Oh, that's great. And then, I saved the best for last, he said this on the floor of Congress.
Now that we've recognized evolution as a theory, I would simply and humbly ask, can we teach it as such? And can we also consider teaching other theories of the origin of species, like the theory that was believed in by every signer of the Declaration of Independence? Every signer of the Declaration of Independence believed that men and women were created and were endowed by that same Creator with certain unalienable rights. The Bible tells us that God created man in his own image, male and female, he created them. And I believe that, Mr. Speaker. I believe that God created the known universe, the earth and everything in it, including man. And I also believe that someday scientists will come to see that only the theory of intelligent design provides even a remotely rational explanation for the known universe.
The guy who's supposed to be in charge of a global pandemic doesn't even believe in evolution. You know, I think to make sound decisions, you would want somebody who truly believes in science and scientists. There's no way you're going to make the proper decisions if you don't even have the scientific literacy enough to know that evolution is true. We're on our own, guys. We are on our own. We're on our own. So my advice to you is avoid places with large amounts of people. Constantly wash your hands. Stay away as much as possible. You know, bury yourself in your own house or apartment or whatever. Like, because we're definitely on our own. I don't trust these guys at all. And that's a terrifying thought, but it's the state of reality that we have right now. And I do have to say that this is one of those situations where, like, oftentimes we talk about how there is a genuine equivalence between the Democrats and the Republicans. And the two parties are both massively corrupt. And, you know, they both represent the interests of Wall Street and the military-industrial complex and the for-profit insurance companies and all this stuff. That's all true. That's all true. However, I will say, this is one of those areas where there is no equivalence. I think that whoever Obama would have put in control of such a thing would have been totally competent and would have dealt with it like a professional. Whereas this group of idiots, there's no way they're going to handle this intelligently.